Mama Obi's food restaurants is at the crossroads of life and death. From dawn till dusk, people traveled from far and wide to taste her legendary pepper rice, a dish so spicy it burned the tongue, yet so delicious it made people crave more and more. But the villagers whispered. They said there was something strange about Mama Obi's food. No one ever saw her buy ingredients from the market. Her rice had a deep red color, almost like coagulated blood. And her shop never closed, not even after midnight. No one dared to ask why. Until the night Chijioke decided to uncover the secret. Chijioke was a bold young man, always questioning things others ignored. One evening, he hid behind a pile of firewood near Mama Obi's restaurants, waiting for everyone to leave. The night was dark, the air thick with the scent of spices and something else. Something rotten. Then, as the village slept, they came. Figures in tattered clothes, their skin grey as ash, their eyes black and empty. They walked stiffly, as if their bones had forgotten how to move. Chijioke covered his mouth to keep him from screaming. They weren't customers. They were corpses. And yet, Mama Obi greeted them with a warm smile. "Welcome, my children," she said, scooping her pepper rice onto plates. The dead devoured it hungrily, shoveling the food into their mouths with trembling fingers. But no matter how much they ate, the hunger in their eyes never faded. Then, one of them turned its head, and Chijioke froze. It was his uncle, dead 2 years ago, buried in the village cemetery. Yet here he was, eating as though his stomach still worked. Chijioke's blood turned to ice. He stumbled backward, knocking over a wooden bowl. The sound was deafening in the silent night. Mama Obi's head snapped toward him. And the dead stopped eating. Their heads turned, their hollow eyes locking onto him. Chijioke ran. The next morning, Chijioke confronted Mama Obi in front of the entire village. "I saw them," he shouted. "The dead. You are feeding them." Gasps spread through the crowd, but Mama Obi remained calm. She wiped her hands on her apron, sighed, and said, "Yes, I feed the dead." The villagers recoiled in horror. Mama Obi stepped forward, her voice cold and steady. "A long time ago, there was a terrible famine. The village abandoned its people, left them to die. The spirits of the forgotten dead cried out in hunger. They could not rest. So, the gods gave me a gift, a recipe." She held up a handful of her blood-red rice. "This rice is made from the ashes of the unburied, the bones of those who died hungry. When the dead eat, they stay full, and they do not come for the living." A heavy silence fell over the village. Chijioke's voice was barely a whisper. "What happens if you stop feeding them?" Mama Obi's expression darkened. "They will get hungry again." The night of the hunger. That night, the Mama Obi's restaurants was burned down. The villagers wanted to destroy the curse, to end Mama Obi's dark practice once and for all. She vanished into the night, never to be seen again. But the next evening, as the sun dipped behind the trees, the hunger came. From the cemetery, a terrible sound rose, the shuffle of bare feet against dry earth. Chijioke bolted his door. But outside, in the dark, he heard them. A voice, raspy and hollow, his uncle's voice. "Chijioke, I am still hungry." Then another. And another. Until the entire village was filled with the whispering voices of the dead, crawling from their graves, coming to feast. Some deaths cannot be ignored. The village abandoned its weakest, and their hunger did not die with them. The past will always return. Burning the shack did not erase the spirit's need for sustenance. Some traditions exist for a reason. Mama Obi was not the villain, she was the only thing keeping the horror at bay. Now, when travelers pass through the village, they see only ruins. But if they stop to listen on a quiet night, they can still hear whispers in the wind. We are still hungry.